Hi, this is Aminata. This is the 15th entry. Today's May the 4th, which is Memorial Day in the Netherlands, which is the day that they commemorate those who have fallen during World War II. And then on May the 5th is the celebration. So, so for the Dutch people, this is a particular day to, yes, to honor. And it's a very particular story. It's a complicated story. Um, and World War II is a complicated story uh, anyway, as far as who was complicit and who was, you know, the victim and all these kind of things, and who's being left out of the story. Because when we think of Dutch people, we tend to think of, white Dutch people, but as far as the Dutch kingdom, there are those from Indonesia, Suriname, the former Antilles that all also have part of this story. So in that sense, when it comes to, we are honoring this story, sometimes that part of the story is silenced and that's painful. So, but putting all that aside, this is a day where we commemorate those who have fallen. Um, and now we have a whole bunch of new Dutch citizens coming from, countries where they have fled um, for out of fear for the safety of their lives, and who have lost people as well. So, in this time of being extra sensitive, I hope that we are extra sensitive to that and embracing of this communal story, the fact what war does to people, what war does to our story, and how we stand in the world and how we want to stand in the world. And so what I want to share with you is a story, since we were talking about stories. And this is a story about Ghana, from Ghana, and it's called The Cowtail Switch. Now, this is a story about a man. And before I start, I have to say, whenever I tell a story, whenever I'm told a story, I make it my own. So for those Ghanaians, if it sounds a little bit different than the original, that's probably right, because I've made it my own, in honor to where the story comes from also. But I think that's the importance of stories, that you make it your own. Um, so anyway, Cowtail Switch. So this is a story about a man who was a farmer, and he had 7 children. And unfortunately, and they happen to be all boys. And unfortunately, the youngest one, not long after he was born, the mother died. So the father was alone with these boys. Um, and there was a stretch in terms of ages, but he had done well, and had raised them well. And these were hard working, young men. Um, and so, so the time was spent part of the time farming, and part of the time, you would go out and hunt. And they were all very skilled. He had raised them well. And so it came time that the father said, okay, young people, I'm going to go hunt. And I'll leave you all in charge of the farm. So please take care of the farm. Everybody knows what to do. He said, Dad, you can go. No problem. So the father left. And when people hunt, it's not like they go to the store or something. They might be gone for a couple of days. That's not uncommon. So father left, and a few days went by, and people, oh, he's still not back. Nobody was worried. Everybody knew what to do. A few days turned into a few weeks. People were a little bit worried, but still, even that's not uncommon. And those weeks turned into months. And after a while, people kind of just kept going on with their business and start doing, and kind of forgot about him, truth be told. And so, so the young men, they were raising, they were taking care of the farm. They were taking care of the baby brother, who was starting to grow up. And so after a while, this little baby was now, almost 2 years old, and was now speaking. And he went up to one of his brothers and he said, "Where's my daddy?" And his big brother didn't have an answer. Like, well, you got a point there. So, well, where's my daddy? Yeah, I don't know. And so he called his brothers together. Said, little one has asked a question here, and we have not seen dad, and it's been at least a year now. What do you think? And so these brothers got together. It's like, yeah, you're right. We've been so busy, we didn't even think. Maybe we should go out looking for him. Well, it also so happened that all these brothers had very special gifts, very special skills. So one of the brothers uh, had the gift of tracking. He said, no problem, I will lead the way. So the brother went and led the way. So they had an idea about where the father had gone. So that's where they started. And then they started tracking. Well, at least this brother was tracking. He was leading the group. And then finally, they went actually for a couple of days. And then they came to this skeleton. And the skeleton had been eaten clean by the animals. And they looked by the pouch, they could see that was their father. It's like, oh my goodness, we're too late. We're too late. We didn't spend time looking for him, and perhaps we searched for him. He's only been a few days out, so no telling how long he's been here. But again, these boys had very special gifts. So the second brother said, don't worry, I have the special gift of putting bones together, and so he did. He went into himself and summoned forth these gifts and started collecting these bones and put these bones together so that the skeleton was complete. And when he looked at brother number C, he said, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So brother number 3 is like, I have the special gift of bringing forth flesh. So, brother number 3 looked at the skeleton, did his thing, and started working on the bones. And lo and behold, flesh had started to become formed on the bones. So now we had a skeleton with flesh on it. Brother number 4 says, let me do my thing. Let me do my thing. So brother 4, he had the gift of being able to transfer fluids into flesh. So brother 4 went and he started to work on this flesh, and he started to make sure that the flesh, started flowing, through the body. And so brother number 5 said, I have this wonderful capacity to put on skin onto this body. So the brother came, did his thing, and started working his magic, and next thing you knew, skin started to come, and there you saw the image, of the Father coming together, with all this flesh. And then brother 6 said, let me do my thing. Let's bring him all the way back. And brother 6, he had the gift of bringing forth breath. So brother 6 went to the body, and all of a sudden, the heart started to beat, and the body started to move, and the blood started to flow into the veins that had been put there by brother number 4. And and the father opened his eyes, and the brothers cheered like, yes, we brought our father back from the dead with our special gifts. And the father was a little perplexed. And and the brothers surrounded him. And Father, do you remember what happened to you? He said, well, the last thing I remembered, I was facing, this ferocious panther, and he jumped me. And that's the last thing I remember. But what happened? And the brother said, well, actually, you've been here for a while. And if it wasn't for a little baby brother who asked for you, that set us on our track, and we found you, and we used all of our skills to bring you back. And Father said, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful for you and your gifts. And let's go back. So they embraced their father and took him back. And after a few days, they came back, and everybody in the village heard about this. And so this was reason for celebration. This was reason for celebration. So the drummers were getting ready, and people started cooking food, and and people started to get dressed up, because this was going to be a big party about what these boys had done to bring their father back, and the fact that this man had returned to the village. This was a beautiful thing. And so one of the special keepsakes that this father had was a cowtail switch. Right, so it's a cow's tails with a really beautiful handle. It was a special gift that had been passed on to him. And so he was carrying his cowtail switch. He was dressed in the biggest garb. And so as the day before the festivities began, there was food, there was festivities, there was drums, there was singing, there was dancing. Everybody was having a great time, and then the father entered, and all the brothers were there, and the community came together, and then it got quiet. And then the father addressed the crowd, and he said, I want to tell you all, I am so grateful for my sons and what they have done for me to bring me back here, and I want to ask my sons to step forward, and I said, here I have this cowtail switch, my most prized possession, and I want to give it to my one child who did the most to bring me back. And so these brothers, they were getting ready. It's like, yo, pops. So brother number 1, says, look, pops, I'm the one who led the track. Without me, nobody even would have found you. So I'm the one deserving. And then brother two is like, yeah, that was good. But actually, your bones were all over the place. And if it was not for me, I'm the one who put the core, the essence of what you needed to be right now. I did that. And then brother three is like, yeah, oh, that's cute, but just a bunch of bones, just a skeleton, that's not what we wanted. So I'm the one who provided the flesh, the flesh, the meat, the essence, to you walking and being. You can't do that without flesh. And then brother first said, yeah, that's cute, you know, with the bones and the meat and all of that. But, you need blood and the fluids to flow through there. And I was the one who inserted that into the flesh. And then, still, the next brother five said, yeah, all that. He still would have been a scary, spooky looking person, without the skin, that I was able to provide. So I'm sorry. I think I'm the one who should get the cowtail switch. And then brother six said, yeah, but there's nothing like the power of the breath of life. I'm the one who actually brought him back to life. So, it's nice what you all did, but without me, we still would not have him back. And the father listened. The father listened. And he was holding his cowtail switch, and he walked by each one of their sons and he touched them and said, son, I love you and I thank you for your gift and I thank you that you've used it. And he went by each son and then he turned to the little baby and he bent down and said, you, you are the one who asked for me. You were the one who said my name. And if it wasn't for you, none of them would have sprang into action. So you did the most to bring me back. And so with that, he handed the cowtail switch to the two-year-old little baby. And the brothers had to, they had to say, well, yes, you are indeed correct. And with that, my story comes to an end. And with that, I want to say, as today is a day of commemoration, the story tells us when you speak those names, that's what keeps people alive and among us and with us, and that's what contributes to the story of who we are. So today, whether you are Dutch or from anywhere else in the world, speak the names of your ancestors, of those you have lost, and may you hold them dear and may you hold them close as they are part of our story. And I wish you a beautiful Memorial and Celebration Day.